Well, the Trump administration is increasing sanctions on Russia, hoping to convince Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine.
The latest move comes after a proposed Trump-Putin summit completely collapsed. Doug Luzader has the latest.
For Ukraine, this is just the latest evidence of Russian cruelty. In the waves of airstrikes this week, a kindergarten was hit.
I think he's willing to make a deal. We'll see.
President Trump, meeting with NATO's Secretary General at the White House, is still expressing optimism about getting Russian President Vladimir Putin to the negotiating table to end the war. But he's also upping the pressure with new sanctions against two large Russian oil companies.
Look at the Russian economy, the long lines of cars into the gasoline stations.
NATO leadership also hopeful the new move will squeeze Putin. All of this will be welcome news to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, but he would still like more offensive weapons, including U.S. Tomahawk cruise missiles. And Trump seemed to all but rule that out.
So the only way a Tomahawk is going to be shot is if we shot it. And we're not going to do that.
At the same time, a bipartisan effort in Congress to impose new sanctions on Russia is in a holding pattern, with the president still hoping to convince Putin to lay down arms.
Hopefully Zelensky will be reasonable, too. You know, it takes two to tango, as they say.
We want to bring in our Doug Luzader live in Washington this morning. So, Doug, has Vladimir Putin issued a response to these new sanctions?
Well, not that I've seen, but you know, I'm sure he's not pleased about them. You know, the question is whether he's going to be able to keep up the war effort despite this additional squeeze. And it's not just the U.S., Europe as well, trying to cut down on energy purchases from Russia. And it really is going after the one thing that matters to Russia. This is an economy that is largely based on energy sales, so that's where we're trying to hit them.
Now, Doug, I know you're not an economist, so I don't want to put you on the spot for this, but do you think that this will have an impact on the oil prices that we see in the United States?
Well, I suppose it's possible. Oil prices are pretty low right now. I mean, gas prices are you know, have been dropping. So, you know, we don't purchase energy directly from Russia. It does reach world markets, though, and some, you know, we talk about these shadow tankers that they operate and so on. So it could have some impact on world markets. We're going to have to see how successful the president is on urging other countries like, you know, China and India to curb their purchases.
Okay, Doug Luzader live in Washington. Thank you, Doug.